Hey guys, welcome to part 3 of my work in progress on the Master Grade Gouf Custom. I'm going to try to get a bit more painting done. I painted most of these pieces that you see in front of me about 4 or 5 days ago, and I just haven't had a chance to get back to work at it. We've got some more of the armor pieces painted. This is up in a gloss black. These pieces were done in like a midnight blue, basically black and blue mixed up. Another thing I had done was gone through and sanded these pieces. Good focus. So what I did is I went through and sanded these pieces. What happens is on the edges of the vinyl, especially with gloss paint, it'll kind of stick to the edge and kind of create like an uneven rough surface where on the edges where it's kind of higher raised up. So what you do is you just come through with one of these sanding blocks and kind of lightly sand it. All you do is don't press very hard, but just go quickly, kind of so. And what you'll do is you'll kind of take away that raised edge and leave a very smooth paint surface, and it looks a lot better. So that's what I did to all the pieces that I applied the masking to. Over here we got all the pipes and stuff. These are a real pain to paint. I wish there was an easier way to do this. There's just so many of them, and what I do is I take toothpicks and I take a bit of this poster tack stuff, kind of put it on the end of the toothpick and kind of stick the little hose onto that like so. So we've got pretty much all of the armor painted. All that's left to do is the inner frame pieces and some of the internal parts of like these. I'm going to be doing the insides of these in like a gray. Kind of already masked this one off here and started to mask off that part, but I needed to touch up a small spot on this guy, so I haven't masked him off yet. Try to get that done. Also, here's the mono eye that I kind of have scratch built. I'm going to do this up in a chrome, and I'm going to glue this clear orange piece, which is from a different kit. I don't remember which kit, but I'm going to glue that over that, and with the chrome there, it's just going to look really bright and stand out really well. So I'm going to try that. Also going to chrome the verniers here and then hit those with a clear black. And since I hit these with a gloss black, I might as well hit them with some Alclad. I think I'm going to hit them with this pale burnt metal, which is like a goldish titanium color. So basically I am almost finished with all the inner frame pieces. I just need to paint like the insides of all these side skirts and stuff. I've kind of masked off a lot of these pieces, and I just have a couple more to do. I'm also going to do up the spikes here in a metal color. I'm not sure if I'm going to do chrome or just a pale burnt metal or something, or like a durlanium. Haven't gotten that far, but I'll decide soon. I think I'm going to get everything else painted and kind of put it together, and then kind of decide on what color might work best here. So I got this done up in some chrome, as you can see. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to actually glue this orange piece over that. This is something completely new. I've never tried this before, so we'll see how it turns out. And what I'm going to be using is this Tester's clear part cement, meant for clear plastic parts like windows and canopies and stuff. So it's the only kind of like clear stuff, clear like glue I have. So I'm going to try this. And I'm just going to go ahead and... Oops. Oh, that'll work. So kind of soaked that in some of that clear cement, and hopefully it doesn't destroy the chrome. And I'm just going to go ahead and leave that to dry. So I know the eye is supposed to be like a pink or red, but I just had this orange piece laying around, so I just decided to use that. I could come back and hit it with some clear red or something to try to make it look a little more red, but we'll see how it looks after it's had time to dry. Alright, now I'm ready to do the inner frame and the insides of the side skirts and stuff. So I think I'm just going to do all this in a gray. So I've gotten a lot done, and I decided... So I'm going to go ahead and just show you guys what I've finished. I've finished pretty much painting everything. I've got the the insides of these pieces painted up. The inner frame pieces painted up. Needed to do a bunch of masking to do all this. As you can see, I'm wearing inspection gloves so I don't get any fingerprints on my nice glossy pieces. Something I picked up from a YouTuber. I can't say his YouTube handle. It's like Tsuthoggua or something. I'm going to link in the description for his channel if you guys want to check him out. He just finished the Tsuthoggua one, which looks really good. I finished all the panel lining. So one thing I had to do was actually had to go through and sand all these pieces. What had happened was, oh no, damn, I just got a bunch of soot pigment on this piece. Whoops. I should be able to sand off, no problem. But I needed to sand all the light blue pieces because when I had painted it, I mixed in a bunch of extra white paint to kind of lighten it up, but I did not add any more thinner, so the paint was too thick and it didn't go on smooth. It was kind of very rough, and so yeah, a lot of pieces needed to be sanded smooth again, just to get rid of the little bumps and stuff. How I did that is I usually went through with this 2000 and just kind of lightly sanded, and also used this polishing block too to kind of really smooth it out. I finished the Gatling gun. Did this up in Alclads to make it nice and metallic. Looks pretty good. One thing I'm going to do right now is add a bit of soot to the rifle barrels here. Something I had done on the verniers here. It's a bunch of soot on the edge there. So yeah, I'm going to do that to this, and also to the barrels of this cannon as well, grenade launcher thing. And I actually found the Tamiya stuff works a bit better than the MIG stuff, the way I'm applying it. So how I'm doing this is I'm just going through, using my finger, just getting a bunch on there like that, going through and just going around the barrel. Nothing too pronounced, I'm just darkening it up to kind of give it some sort of realistic appearance. I'm not going crazy with the weathering. I'm thinking of dry brushing this kit. We'll see how I feel like once I'm at that point. Yeah, it's better. Let's get this one as well. Good. Good enough. Alright, so what I need to do now is hit these pieces, all the light blue pieces that were sanded, with a gloss. And normally I would use something like this and airbrush it because it's cheaper and it goes further. But I'm in a hurry, so I'm just going to hit it with a spray can. Gloss those pieces up and get ready for decals. I have no idea where I am in the video, where I left off, but where I am now is I've finished all the decals and I have gloss coated it again using a can of Plamo Masks gloss coat. I chose this because it's the quickest way to do this, and this also gives me the best gloss coat finish versus doing it by my airbrush. It just doesn't seem to go on as glossy doing it this way. You need to thin it out a little bit, and yeah, so this is just the quickest way. And I'm getting ready to do the final flat coat, which is pretty exciting because I'll be finished with this kit basically. And I'm trying to decide what I want to use. My first choice is Mr. Hobby's Super Clear Flat. What I do is I decan this by spraying it into a jar and then just putting that into my airbrush, thinning that out just a little bit. But unfortunately, I don't really like the way it looks over black. And if you look on the Master Grade RGM 79, you can kind of see the black looks like dusty. It's perfectly clean, it's just the flat coat kind of gives it a dusty appearance, and I don't really like that. But I also like the glossy finish. If you look at these pieces, they are super glossy and it looks really nice. And again, when this guy was super glossy, he looked really awesome, and then I just kind of threw a flat coat down on him and he just kind of got really boring really quick. What I'm thinking is a semi-gloss. Got this piece here which was glossy, and I just barely hit it with a can of the semi-gloss, and I think that's the perfect look that I'm looking for. Not too glossy, not too flat. I've had these cans of semi-gloss for probably 2 years now. I've just never used them because I've always gone gloss coat to flat coat. But since I have these two cans, I might as well just use them up and do a semi-gloss finish on this kit and see how that looks. I could use my airbrush on and use this jar of the semi-gloss clear. This is a really old bottle as well. A lot of the flat pigment stuff is actually settled in the bottom. I'm not sure I'll be able to scrape that up. My jar of dull coat is really yellow. I feel like it's not supposed to be that yellow, but this is something I actually haven't used before. I've always used either Super Clear or Mr. Top Coat Flat, or the Model Masters. So those are what I use. I have quite a bit of options. These are the products I've always used, and I've always had decent results with them. I just haven't felt the need to try out different products like the Alclad top coats, but actually I've also used this and had good results as well. So I'm going to continue on and just semi-gloss everything and see how that looks. So the semi-gloss was definitely the way to go. I'm really happy with the way it looks. It's very like flat, but it's still got a little shine to it. Hence semi-gloss. So I think it turned out really well. Very happy. Now it's time to actually start to put this guy back together. And to do that, I'm going to be needing a lot of 2-part epoxy. So I broke a bunch of pieces of this kit the first time I snapped it together. Then I broke a bunch more taking it apart. So there are definitely a lot of broken parts to this kit, but nothing too major and nothing a little bit of epoxy won't fix. Now the first thing I wanted to throw together would be the shield, because I've kind of been dying to get a sense of how this is going to look. So it's down here we've got the Gatling gun and stuff I had painted up, all in some Alclads and stuff, so they're really metal-y looking. So I've been anxious to see what this would look like all put together, and yeah, pretty happy with the way it looks. So the first two pieces I'll be epoxying will be the back skirt, which I broke 2 of the 3 pegs, so there's just that one left, which is great. So I'll peg it in with a little bit of epoxy and it'll hold nice. Also, I'll be epoxying the mono eye into place onto this. So it's called 5-minute epoxy because it takes 5 minutes to dry. So a lot of times you'll be holding pieces together like this, or in the case of the mono eye, leaving it in a position where it will dry by itself. I don't know what it is about this kit. It is so brittle. So I had broken the peg that connects all that together the first time I assembled this kit. Then I broke it again, disassembling it, and then I just broke it again, trying to put it back together. So, big glob of epoxy is just kind of holding everything in place, so that will never open again, which is fine. You just want to make sure it's in the right place when you finish assembling it. So one thing I had done when I started this kit back in the spring was I drilled out those holes so that I can put in some of these crimping beads. So this is a kit I put together a while ago when I was big into browsing the jewelry section for stuff I could possibly use in my kits. And yeah, I found these crimping beads. And how I'm going to install these, very carefully, obviously. Grab on. Get just a tiny bit of epoxy on the end. And put it where you want it.